I have to admit, I may have been a little bit too generous with this guy. What's up, people? This is me, Crimson 60620, and I am here back with another video. I want to say thank you for taking the time to enjoy a video, watch, subscribe, all that other jazz. Like, leave a comment telling me how wrong I am and how I am just, I don't know. Anyway, we're getting back to a new favorite to the channel. The public offender. Oh my god. Just the title alone of this is really different. But let's go. So last time I received the criticism that I was a little bit too harsh, and then I went and actually checked out my guy's TikTok channel. And yeah, no, he's a panderer. But let's look at this new video where it says, this is why we say it's all men. I can't. I know last time I said he was giving off male feminist vibes. Now I just think it's deliberate. But let's go.
All right, so fair warning. It might seem like I'm a little bit upset. That's because I am. What the fuck is this?
Assault chat groups. 70,000 members discussing how they feel, how they have been assaulted. Their sisters and mothers offering their wives to be abused, and sharing advice is uncovered. What you have found, gentlemen, is the depravity of humans. I don't know how else to say it. These are people who are just monsters. Like, I don't know what else to say. But would you say that's all men? Look, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Falling for generalizations when it's 3 black men on screen, that's not a battle that you want to actually give up to people. But let's continue.
What is this? What is this? 70,000 members discussing how they have raped their sisters and mothers, offering their wives to be sexually abused, and sharing advice.
I saw this story a few days ago.
So, and this is reminiscent of the French guy who had his wife assaulted. Yeah, no, like, there are monsters out there. But that is not dependent on your gonads. Like, there are monsters out there. Well, let's go.
I read the article on Daily Mail. You guys can go check it out. But this is what how I feel about this type of stuff real quick before we get into it. So I'm trying so hard to get men to understand how prevalent these problems are, right? And I do like these simple, like deductions. You know what I'm saying? I'm making these like simple, I don't know, just I try to make it like simple so that men can understand it, because men are.
So here's the thing. Leading to hasty generalizations, hasty deductions, hasty simple answers to problems don't give you true solutions to problems. And this is the problem. If he's going into, and I may have cut him off prior to it, but if he's going into breaking it out in crayons for people just because he thinks that is the only thing men can comprehend, first of all, you're making men look worse than they are, as if they're some toddlers. Not everybody is emotional or mental toddlers. This is just stupid, man. And I'm not sticking up for these obvious monsters. But the fact that they're monsters have nothing to do with their gonads, because there are people who are not that monsters. And probably what's worse is it's probably some of these people that basically LARPing. That's not as bad as actually harming somebody, but it's the whole idea of just that you want to seem like you part of a group, a cool kids group, when it comes to actually harming somebody. This is just sad, man. And it's a way to break this story down to actually talk to the depravity of some of these people. But just saying, men are monsters. Dude, like, no, that's just, or men are just stupid, or men are just, they just don't understand. Like, dog, come on now.
Pretty simple-minded when it comes to these things. So I've posed this question a million times.
No, we're not simple-minded. Dog, it's not that. Okay, let's go.
Right? I'll be like, okay. I'll ask the women. There'll be 700-800 people in the room, and I'll be like, hey, let's run a poll. What percentage of women have been SA'd by a man, right? And just in the room, it'll be like, it'll be like 80%. It'll be like, me. Somewhat groped, you know what I mean? Groped or starting at groped up to just full on, SA, right? So, and I'll be like, okay. Now I'm not saying 80% of women have been SA'd. I do think the numbers are astronomically high, but I don't know. It probably is actually.
You are. Let's just look at this as a social science aspect. You have a channel that is overwhelmingly geared towards men bad. That's the best way to put it. So your numbers are going to be skewed, just like the red pill channels that you're looking at. The numbers are going to be overwhelmingly skewed. And I'm not saying I'm done the scientific study. I'm not even asked for that. But just the recognition of who your audience that you may be talking to. And you're going to use your anecdotal questions to just plaster this across the spectrum of all men. Come on now. We are better than this.
Actually, it's probably closer to 80% if I had to guess. Okay, whatever. So
the numbers are 20%, which is still bad. But they're nowhere near outside the way that you're saying they are. Especially with the progress of human social standards that we're actually seeing, not just in the US, not just in different countries, but across the globe. The progress has been marching steadily forward, not as quickly as we need it to be. As somebody who actually have important women in my life. But it's not this culture of just constant essay. Like, no.
I'm like, all right, so 80% of women or 75% of women have been SA'd. Then what percentage? And then if you run the same poll.
And then the thing about it is the way this is actually taken and the way humans perceive information, it sets off people who may have been uncomfortable with the situation, but not SA, or it sets off a hypervigilance that we humans are known to have, that will take a situation and then post hoc rationalization to say, not even minor contact, or not even, it's just like a feeling. It's that trend of seeing those people who all of a sudden start watching true crime documentaries, and every time they walk into a parking lot, they think that somebody put something on their door handle to make them pass out so they can be shipped off to Mexico or something like that.
What percentage of men do you think have SA? Because of course I can't ask them in there. Like, have you ever SA'd a woman? Like, of course they're not going to say yeah, but
so they're just going to lie, or they're just going to say, like, this is what I'm talking about. This is pandering to like the 20th degree. Oh my God.
If you ran the poll, the same thing. But for men, like, hey, what percentage of men do you think have SA'd women? They would say, 5%, 20%, 40%.
How about instead of raising a poll, people do these things called scientific study. Oh, this is going. No. No. So there is no statistical numbers where it shows how many people have actually committed it. They show victims, but they don't show the percentage of who have done it. So, my man, where are you getting these numbers from? Where are you getting these numbers from? All right, let's go.
60 or 80%. They'll be like 5%. Because I've literally heard them say, like, only like 1% of men are responsible for 90% of, and like, I'm like, that is not true. It's just not true. If 80% of women have experienced,
where are you getting your numbers from? Like, dog, where are you getting your numbers from? This is the craziest stuff. This is the craziest because it just tries to paint men as just like monsters.
SA, then I put the men who have committed it around 80%. Because the amount.
What? That
is not true. It's just not true. If 80% of women have experienced SA, then I put the men who have committed it around 80%.
This view has 43,000 people. Oh my god. Why? Oh my god. He said, this ignorant fool said that first of all, we looked at the numbers and said, and we know his 80% number is just gone stupid. It's that stupid golden rule or the magic number that people think makes it sound like empirical because it sounds overwhelming. But the fact that he said that 80% of the men have essayed 80% women, how is it malicious that he's just trying to dog men, or is he just that stupid? Is he just that stupid? Let alone heard about repeat offenders or people that go unpunished or uncaught. Please tell me he's just dumb. And please tell me that the people that are watching his channel are just going along with the joke, right? This is a joke. This is just weaponized ignorance, as he likes to call it, because this has to be stupidity. How do you go and say that 80% of the men have been some side of sexual assault against women? I don't get this. Okay, all right.
Because the amount of men, I mean, the amount of energy it would take for one man, right, to SA the amount of women it would take for it to not equate to almost a 1-to-1 is astronomically high. Like men.
Then you don't understand what predators are. You think that this is something that is just about, sexual gratification. This lets me know how dumb you are. The fact that your brain can't comprehend that there are just some people that are out there, men and women, that are just predators. What is your problem, dog?
Men just don't understand how much energy and effort you have to, it takes to assault a woman.
You're right. I don't understand. I don't understand that. I don't understand. You sound like you're an expert. Can you tell me about it? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't understand that. Can you tell me about it? Yeah, because we know that whenever somebody does one crime, they always stop and they always run out of energy and they never do the crime again.
Molest the child and things of that nature. You have to get in. You have to know the family. Listen to these types of people. Listen to them talk about it. They'll tell you.
Oh, we all know that only one, that for every child that was touched with the Catholic priest, it was only one priest, one child. This is stupid. And I'm trying to figure out, is this him trying to equate it to just all men and try to pass a guilt of just existing because you're a man onto every specific man? Or is he just that stupid?
Read about it. You guys think that women are just being people are just running up on the street that's not what's going on. It's men getting women to put their guards down, getting them in vulnerable positions, isolating children from their parents. It takes work time. No man has that much time to do it to 100. It would have to be one man is doing it to 50 people. And then
does he not know? Does he not know? What in the world is this stupid fool talking about? Does he not know that there are people predating on others just off rip? I can't explain how divorced from reality what he's talking about is. There are serial essayers. There are serial killers. We know that these things exist. What is your problem, dog? Oh my God, this is stupid.
And it could be one for every, you know what I mean? You guys are freaking nuts if you think one man is doing all of this to, you know what I'm saying? One man is out here and he's a serial rapist or whatever. Most men who rape aren't serial rapists.
While that is true, there is a prolific amount of people who are prejudicious on other people. Wow. Okay. All right.
They haven't raped a bunch of women. Go look once again. People who molest, they haven't molested a bunch of children. That's typically not how it works. That's what I'm saying. So you guys really just don't understand how these things work on a fundamental level, right?
It's somebody who don't understand, but it's definitely not just normal people. Let's continue.
That's why when I have these discussions, I'm always trying to have them from this very elementary, just real stripped down, basic, and what do you feel? I don't want it to be
So you're debate broing people. All right, cool. That's fine. You're debate broing people. Just dumb.
Up there just doing a PowerPoint presentation. Because I can do that. I can do that every live.
Yeah, exactly. That means you would have to bring facts, not just your feelings. That means you have to face reality. and not just try to emotionally beat somebody down, because the wrong person is going to emotionally beat you down. And I'm not advocating violence. I'm literally saying emotionally club you, emotionally hammer you. It's the same thing that I've been saying recently, and I want to actually point something out. He's trying to shame people in his debates, and for some people it works. But people that see your emotional manipulation, the same thing that you're accusing all men of doing, they can dance around that. But let's continue.
I can run a PowerPoint presentation from it, right? Maybe I should put together like 2 or 3 of them just to have them, right?
Because you're not going to be using it to show facts. You're going to be doing it to show your narrative. And again, somebody I pulled up in less than 5 seconds of Google searching to disprove one of your main sticking points. Well, it must be 80% of women. No, it's not. It's high for what we should have as a society, but it's not 80%. The fact that you don't understand that is a problem.
Like 2 or 3 major ones, and then I could just run the lives periodic, like the same live. I could just run it back. But anyways, it's an idea.
So he's admitting that he's just going to use it to reflectively, say, I'm going to out debate you. Come on, now. Come on.
Yeah, put a pin in that. But like, I'm trying to get men to resonate with it on an emotional level,
yeah.
Right? I want it to connect, with like their logic. Right, on their level. I'm trying to meet them where they're at, but they just don't want to see it. But when you see shit like this, man, what do you think? What is your takeaway? 70,000 men willing to get on the internet and do it. So if there's 70,000 men that's willing to talk about it on the internet, imagine all the men who are still afraid to talk about it.
I'm gonna do something. Let's say 350 million. And you know what? Let's do with something even lower. Let's do something lower. 325 million people. And roughly, we're going to say divide that in half. What percentage do you think 70,000 is of 162 million? While you're trying to be full scientific. I didn't do that right. Press the wrong button. Why is that not coming up? Yeah. It's not coming up right. I guess I'm gonna do it like this. Hold on. That's less than 4%. Because if you see the little E right here, the E minus 4, that means the decimal places, that's less than 1%. That's less than 0.5%. That means the decimal point should go over 4 places. This is dumb. This is dumb.
Also, I can almost guarantee you that the vast majority of these men have never been reported. Out of the 70,000, probably 65,000 never been reported. Never been reported. For the men that always like to be like, oh, women commit SA more than men because, but the women don't report it. As like, sir, stop.
Also, something that goes unreported is sexual assault that goes on against men as well. So don't act as if there is a just when something happens to you, you believe it happens to the whole world. I get that. That's a valid way of seeing things. But that doesn't make it true. That doesn't make it true. And the fact that this fool is just, it's just putting it all on all men. Does he think that's going to reach everybody? Okay.
Women aren't reporting it either. It just happens so much to women. And the threat of violence is so high when it happens to women. And women are far less, what's the word? Women are more brave than men. I'm just going to put it like that. Women are more brave.
What? Wait, what? Wait, what? It's not the absurdity of saying, oh, women are more brave than men. What? It's the absurdity of, oh, men are stupid and simple, and I need to break it down in a way. We need to emotionally manipulate men, and men are cowards. Like, what? I want to see the context of women are more brave or have more courage than men. Let's see this context.
So they'll do it against all logic, right? Like they should not. Society has made it to where women should not come forward and report sexual assault.
You got to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. Society has made it so that nobody reports sexual assault. What are you have to be kidding me? I know last time I did a video with my guy over here, I criticized that he probably didn't know where his bias was coming from. But now I see it plain and clear. He knows, and he knows what he's doing. Let's go.
Very rarely does a man get convicted or get punished. B, when they do, they are made into pariahs. They are ostracized. They are turned away. They are pushed out of the community. They're subjected to copious amounts of hate and attacks and all types of other, forms of violence. So it almost makes zero sense for women to come forward. So when women do, I'm like, that's brave. Like, they're just brave. Women are just more brave than men. Men don't come forward, not because they're afraid of men, like not because they're afraid of like being harmed by a man. They're afraid of what other men are going to say, like men laughing at them. They're not even afraid that men won't believe them because men don't believe them. Not only will men believe men, right? Men will prop those men up.
He doesn't get why. He doesn't get why that happens. He doesn't get why that happens. And let me just explain why it happens, and not to sound like, oh yeah, rah man, but for a man to actually come out to say that he's been assaulted and that somebody basically took his manhood away from him, be it man or woman, it's more of a social faux pas than what has become a social norm of, well, I mean, like, who's going to be the man, who's going to be the woman in a relationship, who's going to take that? Yeah, no. There is a problem with the way that people think dominance and submissiveness should be asserted in society. There's a very big problem, and we need to address that. Just off rip. That's something that we need to address. But the fact that you think that men are celebrated and people, push up a male victim from any type of assault more than what they do for women, I'm sorry, dog. Again, you're missing exactly what, like, have you interacted with society before? Like, for real. Besides the pandering that you're doing on your YouTube and TikTok channel. All right, let's go.
If they can, there's definitely a group of men that's gonna be like, man, shut up, man. You didn't always like even with little boys. Oh man, when I was 16, I would have given anything. I'd have given my left nut to sleep with Miss Peppercorn. When I was in the 7th grade, I would have loved to hunch on Miss Peppercorn. Like that's what most men will say. You wasn't, you nigga, you lucky, right? We know that.
What group of men are you around? Like serious, like for real. It sounds like monsters. Now, not because they're men. It's just like they just sound like monsters. Or you're playing into the stereotype.
But once they get beyond that, a lot of men will use you as a way. They'll prop you up as a way to, take away from the harm that's being visited upon women.
An investigation has uncovered.
No. That's not true. That's definitely not true. Oh my God. Like, this is one of those things where it's like, why are you trying to fill out this stereotype that people would use as basically used to discredit it? You're actually doing the part that you're accusing other people doing. It's that whole stereotype of, just don't pay attention to men's stories. Men's stories aren't that bad, and then women are only really complaining about it. And he, like, dude, he's being a stereotype of a male feminist.
Multiple grape chats where thousands of men discuss how to grape and sexually assault women, including their own mothers and sisters. The groups, which have up to 70,000.
Like I said, it's the men closest to the women, not the random strangers. It's the sons, it's the husbands, it's the fathers.
1,000 members from a variety.
So, what's the solution? What's the solution? I mean, like, should the women always be hyper vigilant about every man that they know? Every man, because they, sounding a lot like some, J.K. Rowling. If they have a penis, then they're just an assaulter. When you're hyper vigilant, not just the regular vigilance that comes along with being in the society. When you're hyper vigilant, every danger becomes a crisis. Every missed movement becomes an assault. Then you're not vigilant at all. Just to say that it's all men, and God, this is sad, man. It's sad that I have to actually go through this. It's a sad that this is even a conversation on the internet, that we have to have scrutiny, we have to have paranoia against every single person that has a penis out there. And people wonder why men shut down from conversations like this. Instead of doing outreach, you want to club somebody with a perceived and incorrect view of society. Is it because you don't understand, or is it because of clout?
Variety of countries meet on an encrypted messaging app, Telegram, to share pictures and even live videos of sexual abuse.
So, not only is this up to 70,000 number, not just in one country, it's global. So we're talking about, let's just say, developed world. We're going to give half the developed world. So, and then half of that would be, let's just go from a number of 2 billion. You're looking at 70,000 over 2 billion people. What is your problem? All right, let's go.
Members have also claimed to have assaulted their wives and female family members, with some even sharing advice and instructions on how to do it. We need to talk about this. That is fucking insane. And we would have never even found out about it if it wasn't for this motherfucker being a creep in public. He got arrested for filming up women's skirts, and when a psychiatrist took a look at him, he's like, he's too chill about this.
What did we just get? Oh shit. Sorry. What did we just get done talking about, right? What did we just discuss? Not 2 minutes ago in my last video, if you guys don't remember, we just got done talking about this. What does that sound like? So what does that look like? Remember this? We just looked at this. The pyramid of harm. He was filming up women's skirts. Let's see where he's at. Oh, there it goes right there. Right? Street harassment, non-consensual photos right there, or videos. Non-consensual photos or videos. That is what what's her name? Mrs. Pellicoat's husband was doing when they caught him initially, filming up women's skirts, unsolicited photos and videos in public.
Took a look at him, he's like, he's too chill about this. Check his hard drive. And they did. Guess what they found? For the last fucking 10 years, this dude's been drugging his wife to the point of unconsciousness and letting strangers sexually assault her in their bedroom.
This is the point that I was just pointing out. This motherfucker was in France. So again, this isn't just a countrywide issue. It's a global issue. It's a global network. And to paint that as all men because you have 70,000 over a global network is disingenuous at best. Now, am I saying it's not a problem? Oh, it's a problem. I have a issue with anybody that predates on people. That's one of those crimes where it's unacceptable, and not just in the sexual sense too. You predate on people's ignorance, people's fear, people's just insecurities. I find that to be disgusting to different degrees, of course, but dog, hey, this is just trash, man. This is just trash.
And filming it. They arrested 50 people, and that wasn't all of them. Some of them, they didn't catch them all. But through this trial, we found out, oh yeah, no, it's a whole network of motherfuckers doing this shit. I
also want you guys to know, once again, when it comes to the amount of men that are responsible for these crimes, as you can see, there was one woman and 50 men were arrested. It was probably more men than that did it, but 50 men were arrested. Okay, so one woman, 50 men, right? Women who are SA'd oftentimes are SA'd multiple times. It actually makes them more susceptible to being SA'd. So the more a woman is SA'd, the more likely she will be SA'd in the future. Just so you know.
So again, he's trying to go back to this point that 80% of men assault 80% of women. Using, again, a skewed case. Using a case where he thinks it proves his point. This is just stupid. I'm sorry, this is just stupid.
Right? So that means by a different man, not by a same man, by a different man, they're going to perpetrate it. That's what I'm saying. When you start to do, it might be more than 80% of men. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever.
What? Does he think the whole entire nation state of France was just going into Miss Pellicoat's bedroom? What? I can't with this. This is just stupidity. Let's go.
Or 70%. The numbers are astronomically high. Astronomically high.
This trial, we found out, oh yeah, no, it's a whole network of motherfuckers doing this shit. We just found some chats with like 70,000 of these motherfuckers. Why am I telling you guys about this? Well, one, I think it's important for people to fucking know what the hell is going on out there. Because I hear so much dismissal from men when women talk about this shit. And a lot of men just vastly underestimate how big an issue this is. So I want y'all to...
So I saw this cat do his TikToks before. And both of these people are just... Oh God. Instead of engaging with people and actually addressing the problem, it's this, grandiose, display of like, look, all men are just rape monsters, and they just go around and they just put their hands and penises on anything and everything that can walk. And it's just like, y'all know that that's not true. Because if that was true, that all men, these two gentlemen on the screen, the way they're presenting it is like they're men too. So where's your crimes? Oh, but I'm one of the good ones. Oh, no, you said all men. Where's your crimes? Let's go.
Look at this shit. I want something in your head to go, fuck, this is actually a problem. This is actually a problem. That's one thing. Two, I want this conversation to be had. I want more men to talk about this. I want this to be a topic of discussion. Like, have you seen this shit? Have you heard about this? This shit is fucking crazy. Make it an issue. It shouldn't have gotten to these kind of numbers. How many people do you think heard about these group chats and was like, nah, that's just kind of weird. That's not really for me. But they didn't say shit. They didn't make it an issue. When they heard or saw a sign that there was something problematic happening, they didn't make it an issue.
Yep.
Do you think that everybody around these guys knew what was going on, and they was just like, Johnny just had some fun little hobbies on the internet? Like, I have to explain to these people that passing around guilt because you are part of a specific group does not work well when you're a Black American. Having that standard, and I try to communicate this, and maybe sometimes I can't do it in the best way, but having a standard because you're just part of a group is a tool that, Black male Americans probably shouldn't want in anybody's arsenal. I'm just saying. We got a bad history with that tool. I normally am an advocate for percussive maintenance, but that tool has been used as percussive maintenance to beat the life out of people, or to strangle the life out of people, or to give them a nice little necktie. All right, let's go.
Let's go back to it. So down there on the bottom, you see normalization, right? That's what he's talking about. Men normalize stuff like that. A part of normalization is not saying anything. A part of normalization is not on here. It doesn't have to be.
You think that there are men walking around saying, "Oh, I heard you assaulted your sister. Good luck, Johnny." You think that there are men walking around like talking about, you heard what Chris Chan did? He made incest love with his mama. Do you really think that there are people, the most right-wing people, are disgusted by that? And we know the left, as freaky as they can actually be, won't tolerate stuff like that. Who do you think are out here saying, "Oh yeah, you're part of that, SA chat. That's great"? What? Where's your numbers? Where's your statistics that you say that there's 80% of men assaulting 80% of women? Like, where is your numbers? Let's go.
On here, but a part of normalization is not saying anything. If somebody says something that is wildly inappropriate and you don't say anything about it, then wouldn't they naturally surmise that or conclude that it's not inappropriate, because if it was that inappropriate, somebody would say something, right? Fine. That's the human reaction to that. That's honestly that's like psychology 101 type shit. If nobody says anything, must be normal, right? Like at some point,
I doubt that he knows what psychology 101 is. I'm sorry. I doubt it. Just the perception of what he thinks the numbers are. I don't think he's taking a social studies class.
it's
Social
almost like you
science
can't
class.
even blame the people. You see what I'm saying? Like, all right, they say the uncomfortable thing, everybody just goes or nothing, right? And then you wonder why that person escalates and escalates and escalates. Yes.
Wait, so somebody makes a joke about breasts, and all of a sudden they're like a serial assaulter? Like what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know thought crimes actually led to, being prolific essays and serial killers. I didn't know that.
That's definitely there to blame for what they've done, but you have to take some culpability. We have to, as a society, and I mean specifically men, we have to take a lot of responsibility for not checking men for saying and doing inappropriate things, no matter how mundane or no matter how mundane it may seem. We got to.
This is actually a problem. That's one thing. Two, I want this conversation to be had. I want more men to talk about this. I want this to be a topic of discussion. Like, have you seen this shit? Have you heard about this? This shit is fucking crazy. Make it an issue. It shouldn't have gotten to these kind of numbers. How many people do you think heard about these group chats and was like, nah, that's just kind of weird. That's not really for me. But they didn't say shit. They didn't make it an issue. When they heard or saw a sign that there was something problematic happening, they didn't make it an issue. So that's the second reason. Third reason is I need...
What were they supposed to say? What are they supposed to say? And just for the record, here's the thing. It wasn't that, and just go back a little bit. It wasn't that the Pellicott case was, he was just, looking up women's skirts. Like, no, he was caught with nude pictures of, like, people that he shouldn't have. He was taking pictures of not necessarily kids, but teenagers. What do you think somebody is doing? You think that somebody in all of these guys' life would see somebody predating on children and just like, oh no, it's just his hobby. This is the stupidest stuff that I've heard. It's dumb. Because this is assumed that people are just okay with monsters. We're not okay with monsters. Oh, man, it's just boys being boys, and so we're just gonna let them do that. No, that's not the case. Why do you think you hold the monopoly on morality? You don't. And just because somebody doesn't see morality exactly how you see it, you think your holding on morality is so prolific that you just know the right opinion. You can say anything. You can say what's right and wrong or how to treat people or assume people's guilt and innocence. This is stupid. But let's go.
Need the not all men people to shut the fuck up. Either shut the fuck up or get with the program, because I'm sick of y'all shit.
And this whole, I know I've been guilty of this recently. This whole, if you don't go exactly where I want you to go, if you don't agree exactly how I want you to agree, then you're part of the problem. Dude, that's just your opinion, man. This is what makes movements like this ineffectual. This is exactly what makes movements like this ineffectual. Because in the end, if you don't see it like how I see it, you're just as bad as everybody else is doing these crimes, everybody else is doing these harms. You don't do anything to actually express how this is a problem other than this is a problem. Your virtue signal. You don't care. You obviously don't care. Because if you cared, you'll be looking to push not only shame, but actual mental health help to some of these people who may just have antisocial personalities that need treatment. Or address these people that get pushed into these silos of just hatred and hurt. No, you don't care about that. You care about signaling that, oh yeah, I'm a good person because I said this. Not act, but I said this. It's disgusting. It does nothing about what needs to be done to change anything. It does nothing about addressing the actual societal harm. It does nothing other than saying, look at me, I'm moral, I'm right, my horse is so high. You do a TikTok video, you do a YouTube video, I understand the irony. To say that, look, Batman, look who has a penis. Like, and all it does is shows you for the clown that you are. All it does is show you for the, well, I want my moral brownie points, instead of actually doing something. It sickens me. It sickens me because it's not even that you're right because you actually address the issue. It's right because you're just morally lucky. I've had to console friends that have been assaulted, that have been hurt. I've had to console friends that had to deal with the history of them being abused. And you guys are just taking it as, look at my moral flag, I'm standing here. Sad, man. And on top of that, this clown right here, this dude right here, making it seem like when men's stories come out, that they're just praised for being all big and strong. There's a running joke about men getting assaulted in jail, and it's like, shouldn't have went in there. Your booty hole is gonna get stretched. And I'm not saying I don't participate in the joke, but it's genuinely like, no, that's, I don't know. I just can't keep going. I can't keep going.
The not all men people, the, well, what was she wearing people, the men are natural born fucking protectors and providers people, all of y'all, shut the fuck up. I guess nature took a nap on these motherfuckers. These aren't strangers to the women. These are friends and family. These are spouses. People assaulting.
They're still predators. They're still predators. And predation has no gender. That's the sad part about it. These people would refuse to believe that there are men that have been predated on as well.
Their sisters and their moms need to talk about it. And I'm not saying just talk about this one instance. I'm saying we need to talk about a bunch of shit.
You need to check it. Inappropriate jokes. Definitely check that shit. Sharing, illicit material, right? Like, yeah, man, so much, man. Grading women, ranking women.
You're talking about a societal issue, because I guarantee you this, as somebody who has a spectrum of friends, the grading people, the talking about people, the comparing somebody how they look and how they act, that's not just a man issue. And before these idiots go like, well, they just learned it from men, so they just act like men. No, that's a societal thing. Stop it. Get some help. Fuck.
Man, there's so many little things I can think of. I'm gonna put together a list, like I think a more, just like a more detailed list of things that I've seen and I've even done myself for sure.
Oh my God. I'm just as bad a little bit. I may not have known it, but I'm just as bad as a little bit. Fucking cry me a river, dude. Stop.
and I'm going to put it out there because it's necessary. And here's the thing. Like I said before, it doesn't mean just because you've done any of these things or a few of these things or whatever of these, it doesn't mean that you're gonna rape a woman. Like that's not what we're saying. But we're saying that if you aren't, since you aren't gonna rape a woman, could you then make sure to stop other men from doing it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. The problem was that other men, they knew that somebody was just going to assault a woman and they didn't stop them. They forgot to slap on their buddy chastity belt. Hey, Johnny, you got that look in your eye. Why don't you go ahead and put that chastity belt on right now? Like, for real? For real. For real. All right, let's go.
I mean, like by checking them when they do inappropriate shit. Super easy. You're not going to do it, but you don't. I get it, but you definitely don't get to, I'm a man, I'll protect. You don't get to do that if you're not actually out here checking other men.
These people didn't spring up out of nowhere. They were socialized to be like this. Our society keeps making these people because we're not having enough conversations about consent. We're not having enough conversations about the way men view women, about the way men view sex. We need to talk about this shit.
And what is the problem with the way men view women or the way men view sex? I can name a number of them just off the bat that men feel if they don't get sex, then they're less than a person. That's the thing. Yes, that's a problem. The way that we have this saying of women are the gatekeepers of sex and men are the gatekeepers of relationship. But my particular way of looking at the world does not work for every particular person. The way I view sex and intimacy may be light years a difference of the way you view it. But no, these people don't want to have the real conversations about how we should look at society. From script one, they just want to show. They just want to morally grandize. This is weird, man.
If you want videos on these topics, on all of these topics, I've already made them. They're already available. They're on my YouTube. But I'm going to make playlists. I'm going to organize them in such a way that it's...
Let me go back a little bit.
These are friends and family. These are spouses. People assaulting their sisters and their moms. We need to talk about it. And I'm not saying just talk about this one instance. I'm saying we need to talk about a bunch of shit. Because these people didn't spring up out of nowhere. They were socialized to be like this. Our society keeps making these people because we're not having enough conversations about consent. We're not having enough conversations about the way men view women, about the way men view sex.
The way that men view sex is through the lens of porn. Like, just to put it bluntly, men view sex like they're porn stars. They're like people.
Oh my God. He really believes this. No. Show me this proof. Show me. Give me the proof. Like, I think I found his source, guys. Here's his evidence.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
That's his evidence. He made it the fuck up.
POV porn star. Like, that's how they view sex. That's how they view sex. And that's another reason why a lot of this stuff happens, because a lot of their fantasies come from porn. Right? A lot of the fantasies that men have come from porn. So when he was talking about men sleeping with their mothers and sleeping with their sisters, go. I don't know if you guys have been on any porn site recently, but go to the hub or whatever. I don't know, wherever. Go wherever you go. And just go look. Go start looking at the most popular videos. Go look at it is pretty much all fucking stepsister, stepbrother, sister, brother, father, daughter, mother, stepmother, son. You know what I mean? Like school teacher and student, pupil, schoolgirl dressed in school. Like that's always been the thing, but it's just like fucking exploded recently with the whole like incest thing, right? And
no, it hasn't exploded recently. As a matter of fact, most of the top porn site searches are male on male. A lot of them are male with a trans individual. A lot of this isn't what you're saying it is. We have the numbers. We know what the research is. But thank you for letting us know what your history is. It's fine, you know, whatever you take to get off. But people know that it's fantasy, dog. You know that, right? People know that it's fantasy.
And they do it by just they rationalize it by saying step. That's how they try to like get away with it, right? Like, oh, that's your step brother. Like, I mean, technically you're not, but it's the same concept. There's this person that is
while I admit that there are people who would want to screw their actual blood sibling, the fact that you're taking it as all of these things are just like, no, they really want to screw their sibling, and it's just step, it's one step removed. So like that's not what it is. All right, let's go.
Under your roof, that it is wildly inappropriate for you to be sleeping with them, right? Wildly inappropriate for you to be sleeping with them. They're under your roof, right? But they don't, you know what I'm saying? Like the men are like too charged up from the porn. Living too much in this fantasy world. Too much. And that's how men see, you know, their sexual escapades playing out in 2024. Far too many men.
Need to talk about this shit. And if you want videos on
also, my fault. Consent. Men don't understand consent. They don't understand consent. I've had so many discussions with men surrounding the concept of coercion, and I'll be like, have you guys
wait, what? Wait, what? Oh my God, this is just breaking my brain. What do you mean men don't understand consent? Coercion is bad. Like, don't get me wrong, coercion is bad. You shouldn't have to lie to actually get some sex. It's stupid. It takes too much energy. But that doesn't violate someone's consent if... That doesn't violate somebody's consent. We just had a case of a woman who felt that she was lied to about sex, and then later on she just... And you see that it was coercion. The guy was a piece of crap. But it wasn't non-consensual. If that's the case, if lying in order to get sex was a thing, everybody will be guilty of sexual assault in some way, form, or another. Even if it was unintentional lying about who they are and what they really want. A thought crime. A thought crime. That's stupid. Again, you shouldn't lie. You shouldn't have to lie to get sex. That just goes without a given. And sex should be given freely and openly, and all that other fun stuff. You know, have safe, have fun. Like, be safe, have fun. But to tie in coercion with, you know, removal of consent, only in special cases should that be a thing. And even then, the problem of the consent still comes up. That's so stupid. Oh my God, that's so stupid. Okay, all right, let's go.
Ever asked a woman to sleep with you, the same woman, more than once? And most of the men will cop to that and be like, yeah. And I'm like, now, I'm not saying that is coercion, right? Like, I'm not going to say that. Depends on the circumstances. But
that's what you're implying. What? That's what you're implying.
What I'm asking is, when a woman is in your, like, present, you guys are making out, you guys are kissing, whatever you're doing, touching each other, but she doesn't want to go, she doesn't want to go all the way, quote unquote, right? What I'm asking men is, do you or have you ever asked a woman, come on, baby, come on, please, just let, as soon, I don't, honestly, bro, no matter what happens after that, it's coercion.
What? Wait, what? What? Okay. Wow. That's a standard. That's a standard. That's a standard. I just can't. I fucking can't. How? Oh my God. Is he playing a character or does he actually believe this? Let's not introduce him to the BDSM community. Oh my God. Oh God. It's like people like this act as if women don't like sex. They act as if they've never had a sexual encounter with a human before, let alone a woman. Like, if you're touching a woman, you're making out with a woman, and she don't want to go that far, and you ask, "Oh, come on, let's go." That's coercion, huh? I'm sorry, that part I don't understand, huh? Let's go.
No matter what, she didn't change her mind. You didn't convince her. You just made her feel uncomfortable. And so she decided to do it. Dude, that shit happens. I want people to understand. I'm not even saying like that's illegal, like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Some people would argue that because I know that that's happened in relationships. Like it ain't like the women are like, yeah, I'm going to leave. Like, but I'm saying that men and women have been conditioned to just tolerate men being fucking Pepe Le Pew.
I'm sorry. This video broke me. Wait, what? No, I'm not saying it's illegal, but the implications, and fuck you if you don't think that this doesn't imply that. The implications of that, just to try to guilt people to see things your way. Come on now, this is too emotionally manipulative, and it's just wrong. It's just wrong. Again, have you had a sexual encounter with a human before? Don't sound like it. All right.
You know what I'm saying? Like men being Pepe.
Oh, don't even tell them that CNC exists. Oh my God. Don't tell them that CNC exists. Get off my mama. Get off my mama. What? I heard her saying that, son, it's such a thing called role play. I'm sorry. Wow. Okay, let's go.
Pepe Le Pew is like, that's women expected and men do it. That's what I'm saying. So it's hard to get a grip on it, to really get a gauge on like what's really going on, because it's so prevalent and women even like quote unquote participate in it to some extent. You know what I'm saying?
And then it's the shaming of women who may have a proclivity for this. And it sounds, God, no, I'm not even trying to defend people who take away people's consent. But to say that, coercion or, negotiations of steps, like, one, I'm going to be honest with you. And I've said this to different groups I've engaged with recently, that so many people don't know how to have relationships. So many people don't have to have relationships themselves. And definitely, so many people use sex as a therapy tool. And this is just rudimentary, basic interaction of the talking to of somebody that you may be interacting with. And it's just like, it's such surface level. It's about as shallow as a puddle, and it's just like there is a deeper level of conversation. There is a conversation of consent and coercion and just negotiations of intimacy with people. But dog, this isn't it. This is not how you have this conversation. especially cast, dispersions on a whole gender of people to make a pandering point. This is just sad. Let's go.
And the part that they play is, it's not the allowing the man to do it, but it's the afterwards, like women just act like it's normal. Like they're just like, yeah, whatever, I gave him some. He begged me last night and I gave him some. You know what I mean?
And then it's this whole thing, and it's just like, it's also, taking away the agency of women to act like they don't like sex. Women enjoy sex. Women really enjoy sex. Enjoy sex just as much as a man does. And this is far from the topic that should be about. Unless you just want to just say that all men are predators, and that's just stupid. Let's go.
Like they don't like, but in a healthy world, if a man were to do that, like everybody they'd be like, ugh, what the fuck? She said no, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that should be the reaction. Like the woman she should feel like afterwards, like, what the fuck? Ugh. I don't want to be with any man that's like asking me to fucking have sex with him over and over and over again. Ugh. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but like I said, we're all programmed. All of us are propagandized. All of us. But men don't understand shit about consent.
On these topics, on all of these topics, I've already made them. They're already available. They're on my YouTube. But I'm going to make playlists. I'm going to organize them in such a way that it's extremely easy to find, because I need y'all to look at this shit. If you want to call yourself a protector, if you want to call yourself an ally, if you want to call yourself whatever the fuck, I don't care about these titles. They don't matter to me. If you actually genuinely give a shit about the safety of the women in your lives and women in general, then this is the first step. Protecting women isn't about waiting in the wings until some dude shows up and tries to swing on them and you swoop in and save the day. That's not what it is. It's this. This is the real shit. Mm-hmm. Real protection is creating an environment.
Do you don't think that these men hid this from their families? Like, I know that's a point that I made before. What are you going on about? Like, aha, let me check your hard drive, Johnny. Johnny, you made an inappropriate joke. Let me check your hard drive. Do you really think that there are guys that should actually be out there doing that? This vigilantism about, well, he did look at this woman for 2 seconds too long, so maybe we should check his hard drive. Get his phone. Check the DMs. Fuck, I don't get it.
Where they don't need protection. Mm-hmm. This shit is fucking insane.
This shit is real protection is men themselves not being violent. Like that's the first, like if every, like I don't care, not that I don't care, but I would be way happier like if every man just worked on themselves and we wouldn't need to check each other. You know what I'm saying? Like if 80% of men or 70% of men were just like, I'm gonna work on myself, you wouldn't even, I mean, we'll be fine, we'll be great.
And then here's this stupid line about if women were in charge, there wouldn't be no wars. No, there would be wars. There would be a lot of wars. There would be the same amount of wars that we have now. There are societies that women were in charge and there were wars. There is not a war gene that's only respective to one genotype. The X chromosome doesn't just sit with the war gene on it. That's not how that works. Let's continue.
End of the year, and I really genuinely hope that next year we have significantly more people, especially men, talking about this on podcasts and in videos and skits and shit. Fuck it. Like, I really hope that this gets hammered home to a point where this is actually something that people talk about. Because I think if we just keep on dismissing it and keep on boys will be boys and keep on, well, someone's always going to be like that and keep on just making all these fucking excuses and not really tackling the problem. I think if we keep on doing that, it's never going to stop, right? It's never even going to slow. This is crazy, right? I think that if we genuinely create an environment where this kind of conversation is had and these kinds of things are talked about and people actually learn some shit.
You're talking about up to 70,000 people across the globe. I think we got a handle on this. I think this is something that we got a handle on. We're working to eliminate it. I think they're working on it, dog. I think they're working on it. This is just it's disgusting because They're using it as a cudgel to try to beat men into the way they want them to be. I'm sorry.
Learn about consent and fucking, get rid of a lot of these misogynistic ideas of the way that we view women and what's cool to do to them and say to them and shit like that. I think if we actually talked about this stuff, less of this would happen. I really genuinely believe that.
100%, 1,000%. It would pretty much all but stop if we were to do that. Let's just be honest. The power is in our hands as men, and I honestly think next year. Just side note, I do think in the next coming years, I do think that a lot of men are going to start. The red pill ideology isn't going anywhere anytime soon. I've been hearing like rumblings of that. I don't agree with that because look at what just happened during the election. look at the Nick Fuentes quote. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think the red pill ideology is going anywhere. Maybe the term might go away because it's been dragged through the dirt, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like how when they co-opt shit like woke, and then people just kind of like stop using woke or whatever. But it was cool to say he was woke in the 70s, 80s, and 90s and 2000s. It was cool to say he was woke. Now it's not. Now it's weird. Now you know what I mean. Now you feel icky.
All right, I'm done. There's an issue that's going on with society that we definitely need to address. No, I'm not even gonna say that. Stop. No, let's not frame it as that. There are issues with society that we are addressing that we need to continue to address. And we have made a long stride. Not saying that it doesn't need to go longer. This is not what I'm saying. But this horrible thing that like happened with the man or a bear, like you're not gonna get people to believe you when you start using a hyperbolic phrase to say, oh, it's all of them, they're all bad and they're the poison of society. It's not gonna work. And again, I wonder if it's pandering or it's just ignorance. But in the end, this whole thing of just like, all men, this is why we saying all men. These men have issues and they're all evil and because they have a penis. He made a comment about the election. And it's the reason why a lot of young men are breaking towards the right. Because there's so many people that's making it seem like you're guilty of an original sin because, well, you were born with a penis. And it's sad because there's so many people that we can reach out to. It's so many people that we can actually make sure that we can actually address in a way that isn't just like, shame, male, born with penis and testicles. It's harmful. And I hope to try my best to, and I know I wasn't always good at it or just guilty of just trying to cudgel people. But I hope to share the way I think, the way that I see things with a lot more people other than just saying, aha, you do it because I said so. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. We're going to cut it here.
I want to say thank you to all my Patreon supporters and my Twitch subscribers. Join the Guardians, become a member, or become a subscriber on YouTube, Patreon, and help support the channel. Thank you for watching this video, and the next one should be popping up on your screen. Subscribe, and if you haven't checked it out and want to help out the channel, check out my Patreon. Thanks.